Hello everyone, this is Hua Erxiong. Today is March 8th, Women's Day, also known as Goddess Day. So of course, we have to introduce a model that is especially suitable for young ladies. That's right, it's the Benda Chinchilla 250 CVT. The three recommended reasons. First, Honda's appearance is sure to be liked by young ladies. Second, this vehicle is compact and petite with a high compatibility in size. Third, it has a CVT structure. Just give it gas to go and brake to stop, making it very easy to handle. Let's take a direct look at the vehicle, starting from the front. The vehicle uses sturdy handlebars and the grips are quite wide, so the visible area and angle are pretty good. This classic retro cruiser features a round light with a round gauge, and even the turn signals use a round design language. Now let's show everyone the effect of the main light when it's on. It's quite exquisite with a Honda logo in the middle. The size is very small. Take a look and compare it with my hand. Paired with an entry-level 250cc, it visually gives a sense of harmony. The outer ring is also treated with chrome plating. Then let's look at the inverted shock absorber. Yeah, compared to the Huiqi, I think its road feedback or support during heavy braking is actually a bit better. Then there's the single disc caliper with the Honda logo, which should be from a domestic supplier. However, since the vehicle isn't very heavy, I don't think there are any major issues with the brakes. Then the front wheel has a width of 120 and the wheel hub is designed to visually suggest a spoke wheel. Then turning to the side, the overall proportion of the vehicle with its low-slung demeanor embodies the atmosphere of a compact yet refined cruiser as we imagine it. Then this engine is quite full because it uses a CAD structure. Let's first look at the engine part. Honda is very good at modifying the appearance of engines. The natural fullness brought by micro steel gives this bike, although not large overall, a quite three-dimensional sense of muscle or power when you look at it in parts. Actually, because the price of this bike is only 16,000 or 17,000, if you give Honda a budget of 30,000, the quality feel of this bike would be taken to the next level, including replacing all these plastic parts. Then it uses a dual-side single-exit exhaust structure. Here's its identification plate, a 250cc engine. The decals on the fuel tank with this white paint look very much in line with the aesthetic that young women appreciate. As a guy, I also think it looks very beautiful. Then take a look at the seat cushion. It should accommodate smaller riders without any issues, and the overall design actually looks a bit like a single-seat baby. You see, the passenger seat is actually quite small, so this vehicle doesn't seem to encourage bringing a passenger. The vehicle doesn't really have height requirements for the rider. Young ladies under 160 centimeters or long-haired guys around 170 centimeters should both look fine riding it. You see, I'm 170 centimeters tall, but I'm a bit overweight, so it feels a bit cramped. If your height is over 175 centimeters, I think the legroom might feel a bit restricted. This vehicle is more suited for a refined lifestyle. The rear suspension for a cruiser, the expectations for the rear suspension shouldn't be too high because the travel is only so much, and the experience over large bumps is still quite direct. Then the width of the rear wheel has reached 150, so the overall sense of volume isn't large, but some of its local configurations, like having a 150 tire, look quite pleasing visually. The rear design is also very simple paired with this white car paint. You can see it's small and quite exquisite. Then here on the fender, holes are reserved for you to install side bags, but if you install two side bags, it looks a bit old-fashioned. So Honda now has a promotion where for $1 you can get a bucket bag like this with a leather feel, which I think serves more of a decorative purpose. Of course, it has storage capacity. You can put a bottle of mineral water in it, and practically we can put a raincoat or umbrella inside, which is quite nice. Belt drive, and this vehicle's CVT structure is also a secondary transmission. The vehicle's ground clearance is relatively low, so don't even think about going over curbs or unpaved roads. It's positioned as an entry-level road bike. Then the side panel decorations are also something Honda excels at, and there's a logo that looks quite striking. The recognition is quite high, but you might need to check between the manual transmission and the CVT. Then on this side, there's a USB charging port, and with this layout in this position, the lock core should be above it. Look at the side decals, the white fuel tank, this kind of feeling, the teardrop shape. I think it's quite nice. Okay, now let's take a look at its first-person view. The middle of the fuel tank also has this belt decoration. You can put down gloves, or when we go out for coffee, it feels quite stylish. You see the design of the fuel tank cap anyway. Honda is very good at making these things. The thickness of the white paint is quite good, paired with a small fuel tank. There really aren't many visual issues to pick on. Okay, let's take a look at the instrument panel and buttons. The overall style is simple and refreshing at first glance. Maybe young ladies also like this style, right? Then look here, this is the traditional lock core position, and below it is the instrument panel. The handlebar buttons are all large, but the oil reservoir really doesn't look good. As in the future, maybe girls, including myself, would want to change to a more refined oil reservoir. The aftermarket should quickly develop one, right? Then the handlebar bracket size is okay, and wearing gloves won't cause any issues with getting stuck. Then the handlebar is adjustable, which is quite nice. This is actually the rear brake because it has a continuously variable transmission structure. And here there's a cap left, so we can install some equipment or change to a traditional mirror, right? Without using the handlebar, we could replace it with a very chrome-plated piece, very exquisite, adding a bit of a retro vibe. You can customize it according to your preferences. This bike seems to have a lot of DIY potential. Anyway, the first thing I'll do is replace the oil reservoir. Now let's take a look at the instrument panel. The sunlight is quite strong today. The advantage of this dashboard, I think, is that the information is easy to read and it has a retro design. If you ask me, I still prefer mechanical pointed dashboards, but in the future, more functions might be added, which is a trend. Alright, let's go for a ride. Today I actually participated in the Benda CVT themed riding event. The vehicles included the 350, the Huishi 250, and today's main focus, the Chinchilla 250. Using a CVT bike for mountain riding feels quite fascinating because you don't have to worry about the engine speed or gear issues, you just need to accelerate and brake. It's somewhat similar to a scooter, but its structure is different because it has a much lighter weight. It doesn't have that sense of separation between the front and rear wheels, so it's very relaxed and easygoing. If you don't drive aggressively like today with the sunny weather, finding a small, quiet mountain road for a leisurely ride is a very enjoyable experience.
What would be the drawbacks of using CVT for a cruiser? First, there is still a loss of power because it uses a two-stage transmission. So it is positioned as an entry-level model in the 250 class, meaning that the rider or user does not have a strong demand for power, such as young women, beginners, or if you are just using it for city commuting. Its physical sensation is slightly stronger than a 150 scooter, but it doesn't reach the level of a 250 geared bike like the manual Huishi 250 or Chinchilla 250. You can't get that power feeling when you downshift, to be honest. However, for daily commuting, I think it's okay. It just depends on how you position its power needs in your application scenario. The second issue is that the vibration is relatively large. With this kind of structure, both at idle and when the RPMs go up, there is a noticeable physical sensation. This includes experiences like with the 350, where after increasing the RPMs, you can feel it under the seat, on the handlebars and the foot pegs. So my previous assessment was that this bike is not very suitable for long rides. It's okay for city commuting, but it's not highly recommended for long distance travel or leisure riding. However, the Chinchilla 250 has a smaller displacement and the engine structure has been optimized with improvements in how it is mounted to the frame. So from our experience today, even when revving high in the tunnel, it is limited to within 7,000 revolutions, and overall the vibration suppression is quite good. The handlebars still have a slight vibration when the RPMs increase, and there's a bit at the foot pegs too, but the overall sensation is quite subtle, so the vibration of this bike won't be an issue for our daily riding. If you ask me to recommend these CVT bikes, I would most recommend the 250 version, and because of its suspension, I feel the road feedback is slightly better than the Huishi. When riding in the mountains and braking heavily, the most recommended CVT currently is the Gira 250. Of course, your height should be suitable first. We still recommend everyone, now that this bike is on sale, to go to the store for a test ride and test drive. The vehicle is very small, so today there was no problem at all with flexibility when driving in the mountains. When we experienced the manual version of the Chinchilla, we mentioned that it is the lightest and most agile vehicle among all Benda products. With the CVT, it might become the lightest, most agile and easiest to handle. There is basically no entry difficulty. It feels like an electric vehicle just with the appearance of a cruiser, which is one of the biggest advantages of the CVT. It can be anticipated that the proportion of beginners and female riders for this vehicle will definitely be high. Today, of course, we also have downhill conditions, and with the CVT, you can actually feel the engine's movement, just not as intensely as when you downshift with a manual transmission. Then, regarding the suspension experience, the road feedback of this bike is okay and the support in corners is good. However, the rear suspension travel is only so much, so if you encounter some bumps, the feedback will be quite direct. Therefore, I never have high expectations for the suspension limits of a cruiser, as everyone can understand. In terms of power response, after all, it's a CVT, so when you have a strong demand, you need some patience for it to burst out. My own feeling is that riding above 80 or 90 is not its strong suit. In the usual commuting range of 40 to 50 or 60 to 70, it feels quite positive. The product strength or overall tone of this bike is that it offers a good experience for beginners or young women who are just getting into motorcycles.
Oh, Benda's events are worth attending often. There are quite a few young ladies.